Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about super armors in Lost Ark, otherwise also known as immunities. I feel like even in Thamine, I see a good number of people who don't really understand what their super armors are slash immunities are, and as a result, they either A, are losing a ton of damage because they don't know how to greed damage, or B, they're actually dying because Thamine, Brel, Vulcan, whatever it might be, are knocking them off the stage and they don't know how to prevent those situations other than using time stop, or maybe it's like a dash or something. So I wanted to talk a little bit about immunities and super armors today to help clarify any misunderstandings or lack of knowledge you guys might have about this topic. So in Lost Ark, there are 3 levels of immunity. First one is paralysis immunity. Paralysis immunity is basically anything that staggers or hits you and kind of like knocks you back. So for example, if I summon this boss right here, when he hits me, right, he has a chance, as you see, he did a little pull over there, and that is a stagger effect. So anything that kind of knocks you back, pushes you back, that's not like knocking you down on the ground like this, that is a stagger or a paralysis immunity. So if you have a move that prevents, like you see right there, I got pushed back. If you have any move that prevents you from being knocked back like that, that is called paralysis immunity. And you can see what moves have paralysis immunity when you look at them on your kind of skill descriptions. As you can see right here for my spiral uppercut, it says super armor paralysis immunity. And that means whenever I get knocked back or anything like that, or I would get knocked back, if I use this skill, I will not get knocked back as a result. I can use this skill, it won't get canceled, and it'll be completely fine. So that is level 1 immunity, level 1 super armor. Level 2 immunity is tenacity, knockup immunity, push immunity. There's a couple of synonyms for that, but in general, people just call it like push immunity or knockup immunity. And that has to do with the situation where I mentioned earlier, where you get knocked up into the air onto your ass. So that is going to be a knock-up immunity type of situation. So you see right here, I get knocked backwards onto the ground, right? I would use knock-up immunity to prevent myself from getting knocked up. So that is level 2 immunities. And then level 3 immunity is status immune. Anything that stuns you, fears you, makes it so you can't move or do anything, that is a status ailment, and if you use something that gives you status immunity, you will not get affected by that. Now, status immunity is a little bit tricky because there are some moves in the game that freeze you in place and prevent you from moving or doing anything, but they're not avoidable by status immunity. But in the most cases, if you're getting stunned, if you're getting feared, whatever it might be, you can use level 3 super armor's status immunity to be able to prevent that from happening. And in your kit, every single character has 2 status immunity skills, 2 level 3 super armor skills, which are your awakening, that is one of them. Every single character has that. And then 2, your dash. If you dash when somebody's about to stun you or fear you, you will avoid that stun or fear immediately. It's why sometimes when you're in a con and you're getting, you have full meter, normally you would get feared, but sometimes you're able to not get feared and you're just able to continue attacking. More likely than not, you're either maybe in the middle of an awakening or you've dashed right through and you don't get paralyzed basically. One thing to note about immunities is that if you use the higher level immunity, you can always use that to prevent the lower level of kind of knockback, knock up, or whatever it might be. So as I mentioned earlier, level 1 is stagger or paralysis immunity, level 2 is knock up, level 3 is status ailment, right? So if you use, for example, a ability that's level 2 immune, knockup immune, you can use that to both prevent knockups and stagger. And ultimately, at level 3, you can prevent everything. Status ailments, knockups, and also stagger. So I'm going to summon a boss real quick and change one of my tripods on my skill to be able to show this immunity. So for example, right here, I just added this tripod here, grants push immunity, right? So that will give me level 2 immunity to anything that I fight. So as we can see here, that was a stagger skill, right? If I wanted to, and this is a knockup skill, so as you see, I pressed falling star because that prevented a knockup, right? Normally, if I just let that rock, that would have knocked me up in the air. He's using stagger skills right now, so I could use, see look, I used that skill, which is paralysis immune, to prevent it. This one, I used knockup immune, and I prevented that, right? So you can use these skills to prevent your stagger knockup ailments that happen to you. Now, I'm going to demonstrate to you using a paralysis immunity skill, getting into a knockup. So right there, you see, that was a knockup, and I used a paralysis immune ability, and it didn't prevent it, right? Because paralysis immunity is a lower level than knockup. So I did not prevent myself from getting knocked up. Whereas if I use this ability, I won't get knocked up and my skills won't get canceled. And then ultimately, I'm going to use a level 3 status immunity for a knockup skill coming up right now. As you can see, nothing happened. I was still able to continue my attack through. So that is typically how immunities work. Now, the one immunity I didn't show here was the status ailment immunity, right? None of these bosses in Trixian have anything that stuns you, fears you, or whatnot. So I'm going to go into a frog and show you a situation where he would stun you, but then I use my immunities to prevent that from happening. So as you can see right there, that situation, I was going to get electrocuted. But as you saw, when I pressed spacebar, it said immunity rate on it, right? That means I prevented that disable with my spacebar. And this situation, he's going to knock me up, or normally would have knocked me up. I used my shield, and that gave me knockup immunity, right? So these are all things that you could kind of do to min-max your gameplay on your character and make sure you're able to do as much damage as possible by greeting patterns and making sure that you're not getting knocked up, knocked down, pushed around, canceling your skills, things like that. Make sure you know your immunities so that you can maximize on the amount of damage that you do to the bosses and also prevent yourself from getting killed by big attacks that knock you off the stage. Hopefully that video was very helpful for you guys in understanding what is paralysis immunity, what is knockup or push immunity, and what is status ailment immunity. Again, level 1, level 2, and level 3 immunities. Let me know down in the comment section below if this was something new to you. And also, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications. And additionally, I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisoxShiru. And I will be having a podcast with Stoops, Coddy, and Rebel on Thursday, the 9th, starting at 6:15 p.m. PST. So hopefully I see you guys there. But if not, hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys. Peace out.